gone, and that all changed last month when he stepped into a ring in Las Vegas and emerged as world champion. Well, he's a southpaw, he's from Limerick, and now he's the WBO Middleweight Champion of the World. Would you welcome, please, welcome home, it's Andy Lee, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm gonna knock you out. My mama said knock you out. I'm gonna knock you out. My mama said knock you out. Don't call it and call back. I've been here for years. I'm gonna knock you out.
All right, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show and welcome home, most of all. Look, let's get down to business here. Pick that belt up and show the people of Ireland what you won. And now that you're world champion. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the belt that made this man the world champion.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Put it there.
Yeah, put it there beside me. I don't know which is better, the shine off the belt or the grin on your face.
Not much. Like, the grin hasn't left my face and the belt hasn't left my side since the fight.
So they're still there from beginning to end. Tell me a little bit about the mood going into this fight, Andy. Where were you at in your head? Because you weren't the favourite going in.
Yeah, I was an underdog.
Yeah.
On paper and in the bookies I was the underdog, but I was quietly confident. I'd watched Karabov since he was an amateur. He was probably the best amateur in the world at some stage, but as a professional hadn't set the world on fire. And I was quietly confident, even though I was an underdog.
Do you feel he was a little overrated?
He deserved his status because he was by far the best amateur in the world and turned pro, and everyone thought he was going to be world champion. This was, for him, probably his coming out party. But, you know, I had other plans and
yeah,
I upset him.
And it was, yeah, did you what? Because as the fight was going on, could have gone either way for some time until that punch.
Yeah, I knew it was only a matter of time. Like, I was behind up until that point on the scorecards. I knew it was only a matter of time before we'd exchange. And even though I was behind the scorecards, as the fight was going on, I was growing in confidence, and I could see I was winning the mental battle. He was reluctant to engage with me, and I knew that at some stage he would have to exchange punches with me, and I was going to catch him. So, like, even though that highlight doesn't show it, and it shows the end, but if you go back and watch the fight, if people want to watch it at home, you'll see how the fight progresses. That the more the fight goes on, the more I grow into it.
In confidence. Tell me how that works, because obviously I'm not a boxer, but when you're in the middle of a fight, you're boxing, you're thinking about the next move and the next punch and the next step, and then you say you're winning the mental battle. How do you know you're winning the mental battle? It's so intangible, you know.
Boxing is about action and reaction and judging your opponent's reaction all the time. It's very much like a chess game. People think, you know, at the lower level boxing is a slugfest, but at the highest level it's a chess game. It's very much a game of skill. And like, I could just see in his eyes and in his demeanour, with each exchange or each turn of punches, he would be reluctant a little bit more each time to engage. So I could see, and I was growing, I was showing him signs within our eyes and our faces, and just hear that I'm going to get you.
So it's like two warriors, and you're saying, I'm coming for you.
And in that whole time, you're locked. As soon as the bell rings, you're locked. It's eye to eye, and the eyes tell everything, you know.
Yeah, he falls back, and you obviously said, now it's time to strike.
I thought he was going to fall off. I thought he was going to go down for that punch. And if you look, I kind of move out of the shot.
Yeah.
But then I realised he was standing, and I pounced on him, and I wasn't going to stop until the referee said stop, you know.
Which he did, and that gives you the championship and the belt and so on. And when you saw that and your arm was lifted by the referee, tell me about that feeling. It was a long time coming, Andy.
Yeah, and it was as much relief as it was joy at the time, because when I turned pro, I was, you know, people were touting me as a world champion or a future world champion, but you know, like you said, it was been a hard road. I had 2 losses along the way, and most people may have given up hope on me, but I never stopped believing, and I never stopped. You know, I always believed that I would make it someday. I just needed the right chance, and this fight came about. My manager, Adam Booth, organised the fight for me, and I knew it was the time. I trained very hard, and I took my chance.
So we saw you in the opening clip where you're kissing your glove and sending that kiss out to whom, where?
Yeah, it was to my wife, Maud. I could hear, like, it was very quiet, and it was a very tense fight and very tactical, and it was very quiet in the arena, you know, so I could hear. She was shouting, more through nerves, I guess, all the time, and I knew kind of where she was.
Could you hear what she was shouting?
It was just something like, come on, Andy, or, you know.
You could hear her voice?
Yeah, and I could hear her. So instinctively, I knew she was over in this direction to me, and so as soon as the fight was over, that's why I look to, you know.
So I'm just intrigued by the amount of things going on in the ring here. You're eyeballing this guy. You're trying to punch him to knock him down, and then you're hearing your missus up the back shouting, "Get on with it!"
Yeah.
So you are like a supreme multitasker, I have to say.
Yeah, like you see the battle on. When you watch boxing or any fight, I guess you're watching the external battle, but there's also an internal battle. And as I said, I knew I was winning the mental battle, and that's an unwritten. It's kind of an unspoken battle that's going on between me and him.
Yeah, sure.
And I knew I was winning that one, and that's maybe the most important one.
Is it helpful to have Maud shouting, or is it a distraction?
Maybe a slight distraction, but it's also good in motivation as well.
Yeah, I can imagine. And how is she with the fight? Has she always been to your fights, or is she a late bloomer at the...
Yeah, like she never used to come to the fights, and she couldn't come to the fights. There she is. That was after I returned home in Shannon, but...
she didn't want to see her fella.
Yeah, but over the years she started coming to the fights, and yeah, I'm totally. If she wants to come, then I'm happy to have her there.
Front row?
No, she sits in the back. She sits in the back, but I know she's living with every punch with me. Yeah.
Is she?
Yeah,
is she? Because the front might be a little bit. She doesn't want to feel your spittle hitting over her head. Just want to see at the back and see how that all goes.
Yeah.
Tell me about the homecoming to Limerick, because I got the impression watching the news when you came home that it was as much. It wasn't so much Ireland nearly. It was Limerick you wanted to get home to. Would that be fair to say?
I was very. It was very important to me to come home to Limerick, and I was very. It meant a lot to me. That was one of the when they said we would fly back into Dublin. It was handy. I said no, we've got to fly to Shannon, and I was very stringent on that point. And you can just I think people have seen some of the pictures, but it was just an amazing experience the whole day.
That's your mum?
Yeah, that's my mum.
Proudest mother in Ireland that day, yeah?
Very embarrassed to be thrown into the photographs, but that's me there with Adam Booth and Richard Towers, my training partner, my manager and trainer Adam. And you see, it was just an amazing experience, and they really did a great job, the Shannon Airport and the city of Limerick. And
big crowd turned out.
Yeah. And it was a pouring rainy night, so I appreciate everyone for coming out that night.
Was it emotional for you?
No, it was a really joyful day, and it was really one of the most joyful experiences and enjoyable experiences I've had since the fight. And I've said it now a couple of times, but I've had 3 dreams in my career as a turned pro. One was to win a world title, and 2 was to bring it back to Limerick. And my third goal or dream would be to defend it in Limerick, and hopefully that can be made or done in the summer. Okay,
you're hoping to fight in the summer in Thomond Park.
Yeah.
In Limerick to defend the title. Will that be your first fight since Christmas, or will there be one in between now and then?
There's definitely won't be one before that, and there's been a few reports that I'll fight in Dublin in March, and that could possibly happen, but at this point in time there's a lot of interest from America as well, so Adam Booth is arranging it, and I will know within the next week.
Was one of your dreams ever to have a ballad written about you?
No, but I was very grateful to see that he did it. Yeah. And,
Robert O'Rourke wrote a ballad, the Ballad of Andy Lee.
I actually met Robert a couple of years ago. I met his sons a couple of years ago, and I met him last year. And gentleman, and yeah, it was great. We played it a few times in our house, anyway.
Well, before we talk to Robert, let's have a little look at what he did. His ballad.
You've heard of Bruce Lee. You've heard of Jet Li. Now you're gonna hear about Andy Lee. When he hits you with his right hook, you're on a holiday you did not book. Compliments of Andy Lee.
Well done, Robert.
I was really clapping for Andy that time and not myself.
No, that's very generous of you. Why did you want to write the ballad?
Well, he's an exceptional guy. He's a fantastic boxer. Emmanuel Stewart was right about him. Not only has he the best right hook in the business, he's the best guy in the business. He's a lovely chap. Everybody loves him.
Okay.
He's up Liffey Street every now and again, and we're all behind him.
Okay, well,
he's a lovely lad.
You're a good sport, and well done for doing that. And as you mentioned, Emmanuel Stewart, Manny Stewart, as you know, this man, for those who don't know, a critical point in your life and a man in your life. Who was he? And
I was a young boxer in Limerick, and fighting for Ireland, and winning medals here and there. And I got a call from a guy called Emmanuel Stewart, and it would be the equivalent of Alex Ferguson calling up a young guy and saying, come play for Manchester United or Louis van Gaal or whoever. And I was, you know, blown away, taken aback at the start, and it took a few years, but eventually I moved to Detroit and trained with him, was managed by him, and lived with him. And over those years, we grew very close.
And you kind of dedicated your fight to him, didn't
I did,
you?
yeah, and it was fitting because he said I would be world champion, and it was almost
today.
10 years to the day that when I first met him in Las Vegas, and that I had the fight, and I won the fight, so it was for him, yeah.
Well, you're champion of the world, Andy, and it's sort of so good to see you on the Late Late Show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Sharing your story with our friends at home and in the studio this evening. So continued success. We're going to be behind you as a country with every blow and every fight that you're involved in. So keep it going. Andy Lee, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks a million.